Goodwill brings to you the weekly share market update dated the 25th of November, 2023. Talking about the corporate segment, we have shares of Mankind Pharma Limited surged close to 4% to touch an all-time high of 1,998 rupees after the pharmaceutical company was added to the FTSE All-World, Large Cap, Total Cap, and All Cap indices, marking a significant recognition for the Indian company. The index is a market capitalization weighted index representing the performance of large, mid and small cap stocks globally. The index covers developed and emerging markets and is suitable as the basis for investment products such as funds, derivatives, and exchange-traded funds. Shares of Tata Investment Corporation rallied more than 15% to hit a fresh 52-week high on November 20th, extending its stellar rally for the second consecutive day. In the previous session, the stock had surged up to 20%. The sharp rally comes ahead of the Tata Technologies IPO, which will open for public subscription on November 22nd. Tata Technologies is a subsidiary of Tata Motors, and Tata Investment Corporation is a promoter group entity of the auto major. Suzlon Energy fell around 5% to hit the lower circuit on November 21st morning ahead of an investor meet later in the day. The company said the event is being organized by JM Financial Institutional Securities. The company's financials for the fiscal second quarter and the half-year ended September 30th would be discussed in the meeting, and no other unpublished price-sensitive information would be shared during the meeting. Talbros Automotive extended its gains from the previous session, jumping 15% on November 21st. After the company has received 580 rupees crore worth of orders from international and domestic customers. The orders received are across its business divisions, including export orders of 415 rupees crore and multiple EV orders for 270 rupees crore from leading original equipment manufacturers. Shares of Sterling and Wilson Renewable gained 5% and got locked in the upper circuit on November 22nd after CNBC TV18 reported that a Sterling and Wilson JV won a $2.2 billion order from the Nigerian government. Sun Africa LLC, a joint venture of Sterling and Wilson Renewable, will develop 961 MWp of solar PV generation infrastructure and 455 megawatt-hours of battery energy for Nigeria. CNBC TV18 reported that Sterling and Wilson would get $1.5 to $2 billion from the $2.2 billion order. Shares of Suzlon Energy Limited tanked 5% and were locked in a lower circuit at 37.35 rupees in the early trade on November 22nd, after witnessing selling pressure for the third consecutive session. The scrip opened at 38 rupees and plunged 5%. In the last three trading sessions, the stock has tanked 12%. About 4 crore shares changed hands as against the one-week average of 15 crore shares. The Cipla stock was trading almost 7% lower on November 23 after CNBC TV18 reported details of the warning letter issued to the firm's Madhya Pradesh unit by the United States Food and Drug Administration. In an exchange filing on November 18, the pharma company said it received a warning letter from the US FDA for routine good manufacturing practices inspection at its Pithampur facility between February 6 and 7, 2023. Shares of Sterling and Wilson Renewable were locked at 5% for second consecutive day on November 23, after CNBC TV18 reported that a Sterling and Wilson JV won a $2.2 billion order from the Nigerian government. The stock was locked at 330.5 rupees in BSE. In the past 2 days, Sterling and Wilson shares have rallied over 10%. Sun Africa LLC, a joint venture of Sterling and Wilson Renewable, will develop 961 MWp of solar PV generation infrastructure and 455 megawatt-hours of battery energy for Nigeria. CNBC TV18 reported that Sterling and Wilson would get $1.5 to $2 billion from the $2.2 billion order. Ametha's parent company Hunesa Consumer share price jumped 11% on the November 24 afternoon, extending the rally to the second day. The share has gained 35% in the last 2 days after Jefferies retained the buy call on the stock and raised the target price while adding the personal care firm to its model portfolio. Hanesa Consumer, a 21% growth in revenue and a doubling of net profit at 30 rupees crore in the September quarter. LIC jumped 9% to 674.65 rupees after the insurance behemoth said it lined up 3-4 product launches in the coming months to achieving double-digit growth in new business premium in the current financial year. We are projecting double-digit growth over the last year. We are going to achieve that because a recent trend is showing an uptick in individual retail business. In order to further reinforce our commitment, we are going to launch some new attractive products, LIC Chairman Siddhartha Mohanty said. Compucom Software Limited has moved up by 48.66% this week with a change of 11.80 points. It has traded with a net volume of 12.953 million shares. The share is currently trading at the price level of 36.05 against the previous closing price of 24.25. Meanwhile, the share price is trading above its moving average 25.20, which is a good indication for the stock. The stock has made the highest move to 36.05 points this week. While shares are trading with a relative strength index of around 81.56. New India Assurance Limited has moved up by 37.55% this week, with a change of 57.05 points. It has traded with a net volume of 61.337 million shares. The share is currently trading at the price level of 209 against the previous closing price of 151.95. Meanwhile, the share price is trading above its moving average 154.25, which is a good indication for the stock. The stock has made the highest move to 209 points this week. While shares are trading with a relative strength index of around 82.68. One Life Capital Limited has moved up by 32.71% this week with a change of 5.25 points. It has traded with a net volume of 1.326 million shares. The share is currently trading at the price level of 21.30, against the previous closing price of 16.05. Meanwhile, the share price is trading above its moving average 16.80, which is a good indication for the stock. The stock has made the highest move to 21.30 points this week. While shares are trading with a relative strength index of around 76.81. Northeastern Carry Limited has moved up by 31.78% this week with a change of 7.50 points. It has traded with a net volume of 23.52 million shares. The share is currently trading at the price level of 31.10 against the previous closing price of 23.60. Meanwhile, the share price is trading above its moving average 24.35, which is a good indication for the stock. The stock has made the highest move to 34 points this week. While shares are trading with a relative strength index of around 75.60. Nifty is currently in positive trend. If you are holding long positions, then continue to hold with daily closing stop loss of 19,690 fresh. Short positions can be initiated if Nifty closes below 19,690 levels. Nifty support levels are 19,765, 19,735, 19,701. Nifty resistance levels are 19,829, 19,863, 19,893. Bank Nifty is currently in negative trend. If you are holding short positions, then continue to hold with daily closing stop loss of 43,866. Fresh long positions can be initiated if Bank Nifty closes above 43,866 levels. Bank Nifty support levels are 43,621, 43,474, 43,381. Bank Nifty resistance levels are 43,862, 43,954, 44,102.
You can reach us via phone, WhatsApp, or email using the information listed on the screen. Thank you for joining us today. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more financial insights. And, as always, if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future videos, leave them in the comments section below. Until next time, happy investing.